Okay, so I'm going to be talking about cellular respiration. What does cellular respiration do? Cellular respiration extracts chemical energy from organic molecules to create ATP. Its whole thing is just to create energy. So cellular respiration starts with glycolysis, which breaks down to glucose. Glycolysis is the first step of the three major phases in cellular respiration. Glucose is a monosaccharide that is the primary metabolic fuel in most cells. Just think sugars equal energy. It generates ATP, which is essentially just energy, but if you want an exact definition, ATP is a molecule used to store and transfer energy from one chemical reaction to another. Glycolysis generates 2 ATP and it strips 1 NADH. Moving forward through a series of reactions, glucose is converted into G3P, which is another kind of sugar meant for energy. G3P is converted into pyruvates. Pyruvates are 3 carbon molecules produced by glycolysis and is processed in the mitochondria to generate ATP. They then go through acetyl-CoA formation, the next in cellular respiration. Those pyruvates are used to create acetyl-CoA, which throws off a carbon and also strips an NADH. It creates 2 ATP during this process as well. The acetyl-CoAs then go into the Krebs cycle, the Krebs cycle being the second major step in cellular respiration, which breaks down many metabolic degradatives for energy. It throws off the last bit of carbon, produces 2 more ATPs, and also strips off FADH and NADH. NADH delivers electrons and protons to catabolic reactions, which produces ATP from the breakdown of sugars into water and carbon. FADH is created during the Krebs cycle, and it produces energy. It then takes all of these excess electrons into the electron transport chain, oxidative phosphorylation, which is the final step. Because electrons transfer along the ETC, it terminates with O2, which is the final electron acceptor. The ETC causes it to take off an NAD+ and an FAD+. Proteins and other molecules are accepted and donated in this stage. It then takes in oxygen with those electrons and produces H2O or water. The ETC takes those excess electrons and puts them through ATP synthesis and takes all the ATPs up to that point, which will total up to about 32 to 34 ATP. Then the cycle will begin again. Its entire process is just to keep making energy and never stop. Then, here's a diagram that easily explains it. The glucose, the energy, goes through glycolysis, which is the starting point where it all continues. It then creates NADH and 2 ATP. The glucose then goes through the pyruvic acid, which then goes into G3P and becomes pyruvates. Those pyruvates go into the acetyl-CoA, which creates 2 ATP, CO2, and NADH. That goes through the Krebs cycle, which creates NADH, FADH, and 2 ATP. That then goes through the electron transport chain, which creates FAD+. The oxygen goes into the electron transport chain, into oxidative phosphorylation, and then comes out as H2O. The excess electrons go through ATP synthesis, and it creates the total of 34 ATP.